Good morning. The roses are mainly through with their first flush. I do have the hydrangeas, which are just starting to come out now and take their place. There's some carpet roses here, which are mostly over really. Got some anemones here, which should come into flower as well in late summer. These hydrangeas are the panicle type. They're supposed to be a little spooky, but these are really big because they're only supposed to be dwarf ones. I do have 4 dwarf hydrangeas, so the little spooky ones. I have one here, and then 2 behind because I thought they were all the same, but these ones are looking quite big, so we'll see how they develop over time. But almost all the roses are through with their first flush. So Eustacia Vi, Minerva, all gone. We had Spicy Parfuma, Bliss Parfuma. There is the Lady Gardener, which has just started to bloom, however, and it is that really nice colour, but if you look at the edges of the petals, they're all sort of brown, and this has happened with a lot of my roses, and I think I've overfed them. I think I've put, and I don't mean I've constantly fed them, I mean in one dose I think I've put too much fertiliser, because it's happened with too many roses to, I mean I could be wrong, it could be overwatering, but I think it's very hard to overwater a rose. This is Old Port. It's a really beautiful pinky purple colour. This one's actually been really non-stop producing roses, and it's always had, it's very young. I only planted it this spring, late spring, so it's still very small, but it is just non-stop, which is great. It's probably one of my only ones. A lot of my David Austin seem to have stopped, except for Olivia Rose, which does keep producing, but there are less. This here is, I forget the name now, it's got quite a few buds on it. Adorable Parfuma. So that's going to be a sort of bright pink colour. There is a Gertrude, a very, very young Gertrude Jekyll here. It was a bare root which I got for free. It was in very poor health, and I wasn't sure if it would even do anything, but it is starting to grow, so we'll see. Next year I think this bed will be a lot more impressive. Princess Alexandra of Kent is coming out with another one. This is Summer Romance, and I think, and it's got black spot, if we see already, and potentially blind stems. I don't know if they're going to do something else. We have here all the catmints going over now. I need to cut it all back for the second flush. Kingfisher Rose, Icevogel, otherwise known as Timeless Purple, is just starting to bloom. And it does have that sort of, so far, I'm not sure if it's damaged, or some roses do have this sort of slightly ugly bud formation where it looks quite crinkled and almost damaged, but then they do open as normal, so we'll see. This is Aphrodite, which is going to bloom shortly, and again I've planted all of these sort of late spring, early summer, so that's why they're all so small. Have some phlox here. Coco Loco. So Coco Loco hasn't seemed to be really affected by the fertilisation. I'm going to show you more which I think have. Coco Loco, which is having its second flush already. It only produced 1 or 2 flowers, and then it's now on its second flush. And then this is surrounding it, Persicaria, Pink Elephant. But here, if we look, so this is Olivia Rose. This is a cutting, so that's why the second flush. The first flush had 1 big flower, if you can call it a flush, and the second one is these tiny ones. There is some browning. And bear in mind, we haven't really had a lot of rain. Here, I need to really deadhead it, is Joie de Vivre. But they have all had sort of like brown around the edges. And normally this one doesn't seem to go like this. This one here looks okay. I did come in and give them a water afterwards when I realised maybe I've over fertilised, so within a few days later, it was hot anyway, so I watered them again, just plain water to try and flush it out. But my Shandos Beauty, I had so many buds, like a big spray at the top here, and I know this might look like sort of water damage, and it's probably because I've left it a bit long to show you, but basically it's like how the Lady Gardener was, where they're opening but they just have brown around all the petals, and it doesn't just look like normal water damage to me. I'm not sure if it could be a pest, but it has happened after I've fertilised them. So this year I've been using tomato feed to fertilise my roses. If anyone has any experience in that, I've just from my research, and I've heard that you can use that as well. For roses, it makes quite a good rose fertiliser, but I think maybe I've used it as not at a low enough strength. I don't think I reduced it enough. So I do think that perhaps we've had some damage to the flowers. But if anybody uses tomato fertiliser, let me know. But I do think that it's overfeeding. That's my hunch anyway. I'm going to come in and cut back all this cat mint, which is going over for the second flush. We have, Natasha Richardson's first flush is over really, but she does have more buds coming. Olivia Rose, see, I know it looks like rain damage, but it's just not typical really of my roses to have this browning, and there's not really been much rain. It has been warm, but I've kept them well watered. Again, I could be wrong, but I do just think there's Septidal there. I need to get in and deadhead, but everything's just opening with that brown edging to the roses, so I'm not 100% sure that that's what it is. Olivia Rose, small little second flush of roses. Oceana's still in the back there, just pushing out a few more. But I just have noticed that my David Austins, because there's a Eustacia Vi here, and all my Eustacia Vi's, over on the east border, they've all just stopped. There's no new. This is Ancient Mariner, which has gone over. Silas Marner as well. Everything's just stopped. There's only a few which are continually producing new roses. This is Madame Anisette, which I'm looking forward to. I really hope I haven't, potentially ruined these flowers and that they don't come out all crispy, because I'm really looking forward to that, because it's meant to have an amazing scent. Roald Dahl as well is really putting on a lot of growth, and again, we'll see. Time will tell if I have overfed. But yeah, this is sort of what I mean, just with this brown. Look, they're still opening, but there's just brown tinging around all the edges. If anybody has any experience using tomato fertiliser or over fertilising roses, and they notice that the petals, the roses themselves, the foliage and things, they look fine. So I don't know, again, I don't think it's a fatal amount that I've given them or really done some damage, but I do think maybe it's damaged the flowers. So yeah, let me know your experience with fertilising roses. And here again is just Eustacia Vi and Minerva. I've got two Minervas just doing nothing, no buds. I prefer when roses do tend to send up a few more buds to transition into the second flush, or they start sending up the second flush towards the end of the first, but these ones just absolutely just stopped dead in their tracks. Same with Generous Gardener over there, it's just stopped. But that one, tends to do that, to be honest, because I don't think it gets a great deal of sun, sort of 4 hours of morning sun it tends to get. But yeah, it seems to be the potted roses that have been affected the most, and the ones in the ground maybe less so, but let me know what you think. I'll leave you with probably my only good looking roses at the moment, Coco Loco. Really beautiful rose, doing really well. It was a bit slow to start with and then has just put on loads of new growth. So here we are, Coco Loco. So let me know your thoughts. If you've experienced anything like that, maybe I should go back to my previous rose fertilisers. Let me know. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you soon.